Yankee who was very clever. I was sitting in the John one day, and I see the doorknob turning, and the door opens, and it's Hanky. He learned to put both paws up and turn the doorknobs, and so he could get into any room in the house. And I had one door that was latched. It was a different sort of thing. Immediately learned how to undo the latch and go into that door.
Oh.
Yeah, well.
Well, I want to wish you, I have to tell you that there are services with the Office for the Aging, and our telephone number is 753-4471, and in the Dunkirk-Fredonia area, it's 363-4471.
Okay, thank you very much, and say hello to Doug for me.
I will, and I want to wish you and all the fathers a very happy Father's Day tomorrow.
Okay, well, also make sure that if you have a little room there, at your picnic, you invite somebody who might not have a family to celebrate with, you know?
Yes, we like to do that. It's always good to have extra people.
We always do, too. Okay, thank you much, Linda Spaulding, and you have a wonderful Father's Day party yourselves over there. I know you will.
Thank you, and have a great week.
Thank you. Yeah, Linda's quite a gal. Of course, Doug, her husband, he's known all over the county. He's quite a guy, famous. All right, a question I didn't bring up. Bald eagles, they've come back.
Yes, you were talking a little bit about the reintroduction of the turkeys. Well, I think the bald eagles in New York State, they had to be reintroduced also, right? But now they are successfully nesting, and they are expanding territories. And yes, we now have nests in Chautauqua County, and it is wonderful to be able to see bald eagles all over the county.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we lived where the Sugar Shack is in Westfield, down on Route 5. It's just a little to the east of Ottaway Park in the KOA. And he called it Eagle Cliff. And since his first cousin was married to Jerry Copine, the mailman, the commissioner of mail, or whatever his job is here, he ran the mail service. People would just send to put his name on it, Lawrence Powers, and then Eagle Cliff, Westfield, New York, and he'd deliver it. They know where it was. It was called Eagle Cliff because it was almost a quarter of a mile of a fifth of a mile of lakeshore on Lake Erie, and there were large trees along the lakeshore, and they would nest in those trees, and there was always a couple of nests there. And I'd go under the tree just for fun, and there'd be bones from rabbits and birds and other things underneath it, because they had to feed their little guys, you know? And then they disappeared. No one had eagles for forever. Now you see them all over the place. I go down to Barcelona, and watch out, ducks. They're after those ducks.
They are. It is wonderful to watch.
So the new birds are coming. Now, before I forget it, and we'll repeat it at the end of the show, there is a bird watch number which helps a lot knowing what kind of birds are around and what's common. What is that number if you see a bird?
Well, at this point, people want to call Audubon at 569-2345, and then we put it on the website. 569-2345.
2345. That's
makes
not
it easy,
hard.
right?
So
that's a way to, and then we have a website that lists the birds that the important sightings. We don't have. Dick Miga did a wonderful job. You used to be able to call in every day and just say what you saw at your feeder, and he recorded it all, and we have all those records now. But that hotline is not functioning anymore.
It's not functioning now. Well, sadly, Dick Miga's kind of not as active as he was in the business.
That's right. He was wonderful and wonderful. When I first arrived here, Dick was one of my real mentors, and I always appreciate that.
He's a great teacher, principal, superintendent of schools.
Right,
He's been through the line, and we knew him when we were kids.
Well, you know, one of the things I wanted to mention, we've been talking a little bit about the plants and the native plants, and Audubon is having its Secret Gardens tour on June 30th.
Now, what's a secret garden?
Well,
nobody knows about it.
That's right. That's right. Well, actually, they're gardens that if you were just driving down the street, maybe you wouldn't know that there was a garden associated with that house that you would really want to see. So maybe it's a backyard or behind a fence. So these are gardeners that have agreed to open up their gardens for the day on June 30th, 10:30 to 4, and we announce the actual location of the gardens in the tickets and just before the event, so that that's another secret about it. This year we're really excited because we'll be celebrating the fact that Jamestown has got now some community gardens, so we'll be making sure people know where those are. And so that you can ask gardeners about which are the plants that you have that might attract native butterflies, or there's a wealth of knowledge there. People can go through the gardens and just enjoy each one, talk to the gardener, find out about it. So whether you just love to look at gardens or if you love to actually get dirt under your fingernails, it's a wonderful event.
Gardening is spiritually wonderful too, because basically you're putting your hands into the earth and you're uniting, melding with nature and God and the universe by putting your hands into that soil and growing things. And of course there are two kinds of gardens, and sometimes two kinds of gardeners. One is the people that like to raise food, and they put in food, and that's it.
Right.
Maybe a couple of flowers here and there, but mostly food. And then there are the flower people, and they just put in flowers. They don't care about the food. There are plenty of cucumbers in the summer. You know, you never leave your car unlocked on Main Street in Westfield in the summer, because it'll be full of cucumbers. People just try and get rid of them, you know. And kittens, too. Kittens. So at any rate, I started out a food guy, and then the problem is there's so much food up here that came in before my food. I had tomatoes and all the standard things, and everybody had it. We're coming around saying, "Do you want some cukes or you want some tomatoes?" I said, "Well, I got some, but they're not ripe yet." And of course, you can get kukes for nothing around here. I mean, they're bushel baskets sitting by the curbside.
That's right.
Take them, please.
Free to a good home.
And zucchinis too. At any rate, it's wonderful to garden and get out there and garden.
Well, I mean, you talk about that, but one of the things at Audubon that we found is that kids these days don't really know where their tomatoes or lettuce comes from, and maybe they also don't know what the healthy foods are. And so there is quite a bit. We actually now have a kitchen garden at Audubon, so kids can come out and see and maybe taste some of the foods that they see at their table. And the city of Jamestown is working on creating healthy places and working with kids gardening through Joint Neighborhood Project and others to make sure the kids have a chance to eat really fresh fruit and vegetables and see what a pleasure that is.
They should be introduced to a tomato field. You know, they raise tomatoes commercially, billions of them. And in the late summer, if you walk through the tomato field, there'll be big, luscious, sun-ripened, just perfectly ripe tomatoes, and you pick one up. And I used to carry a salt cellar with a shaker with me, and put a little salt on it. Oh, heaven on earth.
That's right.
Heaven on
That's
earth.
right.
Sorry, farmer, I stole one, but the grace of God will be there with you, and you'll have an extra one growing somewhere. So the birds are kind of intricately related to plants, and that's it. And there's a second generation there. The plants are producing the bugs, which the birds want. So some birds will skip the plant and go to the bug. You say, make a little bit of a corner in your garden for the birdies. Put in, make sure you put in a few milkweed. I don't know if you'd transplant them. I suppose you could, but there's plenty of milkweed in a pod. There's a million seeds.
Right.
And you said up in the fishing game clubs here, you usually plant corn. And a lot of birds eat corn, especially the pheasants and the grouse and things like that.
But turkeys,
Right, and turkeys, oh yeah. And yum.
Of course, some people would be concerned that you might be attracting some deer in that.
Yes, you could, and the deer they'll munch down an awful lot of corn in a very short time.
Right.
Also, the deer are attacking the cemeteries now. There's darn many deer around. They go in there and eat all the flowers. The one flower they won't eat, though, geraniums.
Geraniums?
They will not eat the geraniums. They don't like the taste. Japanese beetles not only won't eat geraniums, it kills them.
Oh my God.
If they eat a geranium, it'll kill them. So plant geraniums. I had a beautiful planting in my, we have a huge plot, and I had geraniums around, and then at one end of it I had some beautiful impatiens, which had grown, you know, impatiens grows as high as a tree almost at the end of the year. And one day I came there and the patients were all gone. I said, who would be mean enough to take them? And I realized if they'd cut them off, they would still be there, you know. So they'd been eaten, and now I knew who the culprit was. I found a couple of footprints, too.
Yep.
Talking with Ruth Lundine, president of the Audubon Society in Chautauqua County here, and just rattling on about birds and everything, and we have just a couple minutes left. I wanted to have you repeat again, if anybody sees a bird and they want to report that bird, what's the number to call?
The Audubon's number is 569-2345, and we would then, if it's a significant sighting, we'll put it on the website. Otherwise, we have a listing right there at the
What's a significant sighting? Something like a scarlet tanager,
right.
But not the English sparrow.
Not right, exactly.
You know, they're an invader. They came from Italy.
That's right.
They came from Europe. Over and they fly around on boats. They came here.
Right.
And in Italy, they eat them in sandwiches.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. I don't know who plucks them. Maybe little kids, but whatever. Then they fry them up and put them in a bun and munch them down.
Do they bone them?
No, but they do. I think they take the noggin off, and they don't take the feet off, because I had one and it had the feet sticking out.
So you've had
the little
this?
legs. Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And they're delicious, I might add. What a use for the English sparrow, you know. Nobody thought of what to do with English sparrows before. And we have a lot of birds that are game birds.
Yes.
The doves, I mean, and incidentally, the hunting has dropped off, so the birds are increasing. You know, there are more geese and ducks on this planet, in this hemisphere than ever before when the white man came, discovered it. Because nobody's hunting them anymore. It's such a hassle.
Well, plus we're growing all this food that they love to eat. So.
Oh yes, and a lot of them aren't even bothering to migrate. They just hang around the park. They know somebody's going to come down there and break the law and feed them. You can't do anything anymore. You know, you can't take sand from the beach. You can't take a stone from the beach. Can't feed the birds. There's all kinds of rules and regulations here in New York State. Thank you very much. All right, Ruth Lundine, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to close off, because they're telling me we're just about done, and I just got this message from the headquarters here. We're out of here. So go ahead. You got a half minute to close off.
Thank you. Well, we thank you very much. I enjoyed being here, and we would love to have people come visit Audubon. We're open 7 days a week down just off of Route 62 on Riverside Road, and events every weekend. Lots of bird banding. June 30th is our Secret Gardens tour. And please visit our website, JamestownAudubon.org, to get a full schedule of everything that's going on.
And you will be there.
And I will be there. Yes, I will be there.
I won't miss that. Probably. Ruth Lundine. Ruth Lundine, thank you very much. You've done a great job.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Will you come back for the fall birds? So you know the different birds in the fall.
Certainly.
Turkey hunting's back on.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why people hunt turkeys. God help them. They're a big job to I was going to say a job to pluck them and clean them and everything. And then they're gamey and they're tough. And who needs one? You go down for $3.99 and you can buy a whole beautiful 10-pounder at the market when they're on sale.
Right.
Lots of beautiful people helping out here. Chuck Kelsey, Devin Taylor, Chris Burt, Randy Burt, Chris Remacher, Jeff Zook, and Don Zins. And not last but not least, John Hamels. What a bunch of people here running this show. I'll tell you, Ruth, what would we do without them? All I want to do is tell you to go out and have a wonderful Father's Day tomorrow and dance and sing in the sun and plant some milkweed plants in your garden. May all that is proud and true and noble abide with you. I'm Reed Powers.